Let's dive into the discussions shaping the nation.
It's good to have the opportunity to speak here again so soon on housing, and I welcome the motion by the Social Democrats colleagues. And I would be looking at the government amendment, voting against it. However, I just want to put on the record that I am participating in a pairing arrangement today, so I won't be voting, but I do want to speak in support of the motion. It's hugely important to emphasise a couple of things. Firstly, the government's over-reliance, and I know the government statement says that some of the investment has to come from the private sector, and there's not an over-reliance. But going forward, it seems to be there will be an increasing reliance on the private sector. And what's happening with the so-called vulture funds, investment funds coming in, they're obviously in to make a profit. There's no way in the world the price of any housing for sale, if they sell it, is going to be cheaper. And certainly the rents are not going to be cheaper either. I want to give you a local example of the pool in Lucan, the Lucan swimming pool. For some reason, South Dublin County Council decided to tender out the management of this pool, and it was won by a private company. So as a result, the costs for the Lucan pool are going to be, for example, €6 for a swim in Clondalkin, operated by the council, €10 for a swim in Lucan. I can only quantify that in housing terms by saying if you're in it to make your profit, make your margin, give your investors a return, it's always going to be more expensive. If we are talking about giving breaks, we should be giving breaks to small landlords, the ones who own one property, who've been keeping people at reduced rents for years and are being squeezed out of the market, or the single property investor. If you have a rent pressure zone, and I agree with rent pressure zones and keeping rents down, but if you have people who are operating and their tenant leaves of their own volition, they should be able to put it in for a market rent. But other than that, we need to keep the prices down, but we need to give tax incentives to assist the smaller landlords. The state should be the biggest developer in the country. And I don't mean the state should don all the shovels and do everything, but it should be working with the private sector, but the state should be the lead partner. There's ideas. Already up in County Louth, for example, we have a housing development that's going to be produced in a new and innovative manner through 3D printing. We've seen in some cases that they've gone overblown in other areas where modular housing has actually been delivered cheaper than your traditional bricks and mortar. And obviously I'd like longer time to speak, but I just want to welcome something that I've raised in the council and I raised a while back about people being able to build in back gardens. As long as it's not been rented out to the private sector and it's for family use, I think it's a brilliant idea, and let's keep moving with it as quickly as possible.
Thanks, Deputy Gogarty. Back to the government.
Like, share, and subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.